A couple of months ago, when I reviewed the Kawasaki Z1000, it told me basically one thing. Most of us plan to own a superbike someday. You guys were really interested. But we're worried about several aspects. I've often encountered these questions from my fellow bikers. Will I be able to handle the power? Can I use this bike within the city? What about heating problems, service cost, mileage? Unfortunately, these aren't questions that popular reviews cover. And that's where we come in. On this Republic Day, we met up with a superbike owner and friend, Shomo Mondol. He's pretty new to the liter class ballpark, having just upgraded from his Hyosung GT650 just a few months ago. And what an upgrade it is! A 2014 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R with all the bells and whistles. There is ABS and traction control, wheelie control, ride-by-wire, 3 power modes and a fully adjustable shock absorber. This motorcycle truly represents the advancement of Japanese technology. But what does it mean for the biker on road with our beautiful road conditions? The bigger your bike gets, the smaller fraction of its power you would need in everyday life. And when it's a 200 bhp ZX-10R, even 1/10 of the power will take you around town just fine. But what people seem to fear is that a slight mistake in opening the throttle and the bike ending up halfway inside the car up front. Well, that is where the power modes come into play. Setting it to low mode makes the bike feel like a 600cc and also having a slower uptake. Throttle response is slightly softer and this makes the bike easy to ride in the city. This is also the rain mode for those guys who are crazy enough to ride a 200 bhp motorcycle in the rain. Riding a big bike within the city will have certain amount of disadvantages as well. Take for example this larger turning radius for a motorcycle with clip-on handlebars. While I was testing out that part, I found it to be not unmanageable but a little difficult because you feel the weight of the motorcycle in corners like this. You should be a bit careful, but I think after a few days, most riders will be able to handle it just fine. The bike has been modified with an SC Project GP carbon exhaust for a booming sound. Let's just say the cops are not too happy about it. But if you ask me, this is what the bike is supposed to sound like. I can hear the cylinders in it distinctively, and that's what counts. If you want to check out the exhaust sound, click on the link on screen and it'll take you to the exhaust sound video. Now, riding a big bike slow has its advantages as well. A machine designed for speeds of 300 km per hour feels rock stable even at 100 km per hour. And at city speeds, it almost feels like stationary. So if you have to brake suddenly and hard, the rock solid dual discs are going to feel like an overkill. So on the city as well as the highway, if you can just watch your speed limits, this is actually one of the safest bikes to ride. The bike is mostly an overkill in the city. I mean, if you are looking at fuel efficiency figures, the motorcycle makes about 12 km per liter in the city and about 20 km per liter in the highway. Does it get anywhere faster than say a Duke 390? Well, first thing I'd say is that within city limits, a 150cc motorcycle keeps up pretty well with a liter class bike. Most places have a lot of traffic lights and so you can catch up very easily on the slower bikes. And due to the heavy traffic, you can't use the power or the acceleration without risking a bit too much. So does it really go anywhere faster? Well, if you are at the front row start when the traffic lights go green, you can disappear beyond everything else. And it is an easy bike to filter with. The clip-ons are pretty close up and you can squeeze through some pretty tight gaps, whereas I was getting caught up with my sumo handlebars on the Duke 390. So you can push through even the smallest of gaps, especially if you can close up your mirrors. Remind you that the torque lower down means you have to do very little shifting and there is no heating problem on this bike. We were riding within the city for 4 hours and it never felt like the ZX-10R was heating up. My Duke 390 however had heated up a bit. So yes, city riding is realistic and possible with this bike if you don't mind the fuel efficiency figures. But I can guarantee you that you can park the bike and just walk away. I mean, I would hate to lose the storm grips when I come back. And that is exactly what sort of damage that happens in India. People take off small parts from your bike and keep it as a collectible at home. theft of big bikes is pretty uncommon though. Now, if you're thinking whether you can go 2-up on this bike, there are a few things you need to know about. There are no grab handles on this bike, so your pillion will have to latch onto you. Room for the pillion is very less, so I'm assuming it's going to be your wife or girlfriend. She should be relatively in comfort if she is thin, but all of that weight would end up on you, which would take a heavy toll on your wrists. Most owners prefer going solo on this bike. The advantage of living in India is that everything from an R1 to a Ducati Panigale gets the same amount of attention because most people in the crowd don't know anything about superbikes, but they just love it. The most of their knowledge comes from a movie called Doom, and it has basically motorcycle physics that can give Einstein a heart attack. We went to the new market area to judge the crowd attention, and basically we managed to get around 50 people surround us within 5 minutes. You get a lot of questions. Guys, girls, women, children, everybody looks at you. We have seen some commuter motorcycles make ads where everybody looks at the guy riding the motorcycle. Well, with the ZX-10R it actually happens. The motorcycle has the axe effect, so to speak. The ZX-10R is not a touring bike. I mean, it's one of the most sportiest, track-eager motorcycles, but this is India and we don't give a fuck. Our job here has always been to buy sport bikes that went all over the country in touring but never saw the insides of a racetrack, because a lot of people buy the fared bikes for their looks, but when they take them on a long tour because they don't have a touring dedicated bike, it's kinda badass. Our owner also went on a 500 kilometers trip on this motorcycle all the way up to Puri, and he was pretty comfortable with the idea of making that trip again. The ZX-10R is a superbike that most of us can only dream about owning. Yes, the power is scary, and the owners themselves respect that power. Family members worry about our safety as well. But the thrill of ownership is something that can't be described in a video. But it is something that should be experienced once during your lifetime. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Check out the other videos related to Kawasaki on our channel. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.